welcome to the 9th episode of the Trackside Girls podcast. As always, NASCAR's first. I feel like it's kind of a side of racing that a lot of people don't really talk about. Two drivers, I don't believe they're current drivers, like current full-time drivers, but they had to be suspended indefinitely due to being arrested for a DWI. That's the difference. So, the way NASCAR does it, from what I understand, is if you, have a traffic stop or, you get in trouble for anything, legally, if you tell them and you're not arrested for it, they're pretty lenient on suspensions or stuff like that. But if you are actually arrested for something, obviously they're gonna have to make an example and you have to be suspended. Even if it's something I wouldn't necessarily say it's minor, because you shouldn't be driving while under the influence anyway. But yeah, so that was news, I want to say, before the weekend. We found out one of the Xfinity drivers, their plans for next season. So colleague just kind of threw us for a loop with that with the tweet that they had posted congratulating Austin Hill, because Austin Hill is staying at RCR. All the hints that colleague was putting out, yeah, they lied to us.
They lied to us.
Something cool that is coming out, I feel like it's something similar to Race for the Championship that NASCAR had done for the 2022 playoffs. But NASCAR has teamed with Netflix to produce a 5-episode docuseries with 45-minute long episodes. Not exactly sure what it's going to be about, but apparently it has already started filming. And it's supposed to be released early 2024, so I'm guessing right before the season, lead up to Daytona is probably my guess, or the Clash. But so that's very exciting.
It's supposed to be about the playoffs, the 2023 playoffs.
Why do they wait so long to release it then?
I'm already filming it now.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's probably a Netflix thing, honestly. What I was sitting here thinking is a lot of traction that Formula One got was because of Drive to Survive, the Netflix series. So, who knows? NASCAR might turn into this might turn into Drive to Survive and get a little more out of the country viewers. Drive to Survive brought Formula One to a lot of the American viewers, where I feel like this could do the opposite and take NASCAR to the other side of the world, which would be really cool. Something I thought was funny. We know Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick has a son named Keelan. He also races. Keelan says that Kevin always does bad in races. So whenever he goes to the track, he doesn't watch while he's there. That's funny. I think Keelan's, I want to say 15. I think he's either a preteen or mid-teens. But that was very funny. That video, that kind of caught me off guard.
So I saw this on Twitter, I even saw it from who posted it, that Mac Tiff is back. He, from last weekend, he drove 2 races at 2 different tracks, I believe, and the super late model races.
We're going to get into the NASCAR weekend. Ty Gibbs got pole at Watkins Glen, a Cup driver getting an Xfinity pole. On the Cup side, Denny Hamlin got pole. But before we talk about the Cup race, we're going to talk about the Xfinity race. The Xfinity race was actually pretty eventful, in my opinion. We had Josh Williams, driver of the 92, rear end Brett Moffitt. They stacked up for the choose on a restart, and Josh Williams was adjusting something in the car and not looking, and ran in straight into the back of Brett Moffitt. It busted the radiator, crushed the nose, like completely bent the hood. So, and that wasn't the only. Josh wasn't the only person to do something like that. Not necessarily in the same way, but the car was destroyed the same way. Because Kaz Grala had a pretty eventful race. He went through the grass at the bus stop due to Sammy Smith. And
Sammy.
Yep, and then people are making, because okay, so it's Go Bowling at the Glen. That was the Cup race. That was the title sponsor. Okay, so everybody had to bring out the bowling like memes. Okay, so Kaz Grala went through the grass in the bus stop, hit one of the sponsor signs. Okay, and somebody took that video and put the Wii Sports strike over it. So that happened first for Kaz Grala. Then he got caught up in a late race incident where he also busted the radiator, crushed the nose, bent the hood. So it was not a fun time for our boy Kaz Grala. Car troubles. Riley Herbst also didn't have a very good time. He had transmission issues, where his car would not stay in gear, I believe. And also he had a detached track bar on the rear wheels of his car. So, like, his rear wheels were moving side to side, like, on the axle. It was wild to look at, because you that does not look real. Things weren't going very well for the Stewart-Haas guys, because one of the late restarts, if not the final restart, Cole Custer turns Justin Allgaier, and it catches a couple people with it. That's how Kaz Grala got his damage. Then, the final lap, they had to go into NASCAR overtime. Turn 1. Sam Mayer.
Samuel.
Yep,
Samuel Mayer.
Wheel hops. Not necessarily wheel hops, like, if you look back at the footage, he got sideways. But he went into the rear quarter panel of Ty Gibbs and kind of spun him off the track. So, Ty Gibbs, along with Austin Hill, Josh Berry, and Sammy Smith, all spin with 1 lap to go. And because it's a road course, they don't immediately throw the caution, because they give them a second to like see if they can get going again, because it's obviously different than an oval track. So they were not some happy campers after that race. But in Sam Mayer spinning Ty Gibbs, Sam Mayer comes out of turn 1 in second because Sheldon Creed gets past them. And Sheldon Creed misses turn 7. And Sam Mayer takes advantage, passes him, and wins at the Glen. So this is his second win of his career and of this season. And they were pretty close together. The last one was his first win was Road America, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And now he won at the Glen. So
I told Molly, is he gonna pull a Carson? He's already won this year, and Carson already has 3 wins in trucks, and he won this year the first time. Is Sam gonna do the same thing? Because he won for the first time, and he's already won 2 times after.
we'll find out.
So is he gonna pull a Carson and make it a 3-for-3 win?
So little rundown. Parker Kligerman finished 3rd. Which brings it to a very tight point battle because Sheldon Creed finished 2nd, and those are the 2 drivers that are really fighting for that last spot in the playoffs.
No, Riley's right there at the cutoff line. He's 3 above, 3 points above.
Yes. He went into that race with, I want to say, like between 50 and 90 points above.
Mm-hmm.
And because of his troubles on track, where he had to retire from the race, it has brought that lead down to like dwindling. And with Sam winning, one of my favorite parts was Ross Chastain congratulating him as they drove around the track. Ross just looked so happy for him, just like swinging his like thumb out the window at him as they go around the carousel. But another thing, Sam and Ty Gibbs's post-race interviews, we already know these two have beef. They don't really get along. They've been racing each other for quite a while. But they had an incident with the first race of Martinsville last year, where Ty didn't take his helmet off and swung at Sam. And yeah, there's a whole lot of beef there. We could literally probably spend a whole episode on unpacking that.
I have no comment on that because I had to watch that race in person.
Mm-hmm. We were there for that.
So
I have no comment on it because I already fought with my dad about the whole incident, didn't I? It was a whole thing that I fought with him.
Nothing, just an incident on the race, okay? But obviously, so Sam's obviously happy that he won this race, but he made the comment that everybody would much rather see a series regular win instead of the cup drivers that come and compete in the Xfinity series, which I do agree. Because it's like, yes, the Xfinity drivers, they get more experience racing against the Cup drivers whenever they come down, because obviously they are more experienced. But it does, the Xfinity drivers do miss out on winning those races that the Cup Series drivers take from them. And whenever the Cup Series drivers come down, none of it counts towards the playoffs, obviously, because they're not full-time drivers in that series. So I do see Sam's point of view. As for Ty's interview, Ty mentioned, yeah, we've been racing a long time. I have 12 Xfinity Series wins. And he even, I don't know if somebody had told him to say this, like, before the interviewers got to him, but he did congratulate Sam on his second Xfinity Series win. I just don't know if that was a situation like how Jeff Gordon got to Chase Elliott at last year's Watkins Glen race and told Chase not to open his mouth because he was upset that Kyle Larson moved him out of the way for that. But either way, Ty Gibbs did congratulate Sam, but he expressed his frustration, saying that he wishes he got his 13th Xfinity Series win. But that rivalry could probably take an entire episode. So, onto the Cup race. I believe there was only maybe 2 cautions. One of the big ones, the main cautions, was Chase Elliott ran out of gas. He was stopped in the access road of the bus stop and had to be pushed back to pit road. They believe that it was like a communication error of how much fuel is on the reserve switch. But yes, he was out of fuel. Unfortunately, this race did not end like, I believe he got his first win at Watkins Glen, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it did not end like that for him this time. He ran out of gas before the green flag and did not win. But his Hendrick teammate, William Byron, got his 5th win of the season. Honestly, I still kind of stand by William Byron being one of the favorites for the playoffs. Just because, yeah, he had that slump in like the summertime. But he's still the driver with the most wins of the season. So could go either way. So with a repeat winner from Watkins Glen, means 2 of the points drivers got locked in. And one of those drivers was Brad Keselowski, meaning both RFK cars are in the playoffs, with Brad Keselowski only being at RFK for 2 years now. I don't know what he does. I don't know how involved he actually is, but that program has drastically become better in the 2 years that he was there, or is there. And it's surprising that it's both cars being consistent, not just one of them. On to next week. For the Cup Series, there's only one spot left in the playoffs. So, if we get a repeat winner, that means whoever's at the bubble is fighting for that last spot.
It's
Or-
Bubba and Ty.
Yes, Ty Gibbs has made it to 17th in points, which you guys, I mentioned it last week, that there's a very big possibility that Ty could get 17th in points. Or it could throw a complete curveball and have somebody who's 20th or below win that race this weekend. Which, you know who I'm rooting for. Because he does
I don't know, Sid. Do we know who you're going for?
he does very well at Daytona.
Oh, does he now?
Because he almost won this race last year, except Austin Dillon knocked him out of the way. But
Not gonna lie, I'm a little stressy for Daytona because Daytona is
yes,
Anyone's game.
yes,
anyone's game.
Daytona is a complete wild card. There are over half the field could win that race. As for Daytona, we have a couple people joining the Daytona race and stepping into regular numbers that we normally see. Riley Herbst is going to be in the 36 car. Which I honestly didn't see happening because usually the 36 car is reserved for Zane at front row. So,
Yeah, I was kind of surprised when Molly sent that because I would have thought they would have announced Zane would have been racing Daytona. Not Riley.
yeah. So,
I mean, I love Riley, but confused a little bit.
yeah, I would have seen Riley more in like Rick Ware Racing
That's what I would
rather
have thought.
than front row.
Yeah,
So
that's what I would have thought.
then we have Xfinity Series rookie Chandler Smith driving the 13 car for Colleague. So he's going to be joining the field. And they announced Josh Berry to drive the 24 car at Daytona. Obviously, they don't have a full season driver anymore for that car now that Noah has stepped away. So they are having to find other drivers to fill in for the 42 car because it's on charter. It's a full-time car. So for them to keep their place in owner's championship or I don't believe the 42 car is very high up in the drivers championship, but for them to still earn their earnings at the end of the season for that car, it has to be on track every single week. So it's Daytona's gonna be something.
I just wanted to say, so I don't know if you guys saw, but on the 42 hauler, they took off Black Rifle Coffee. Black Rifle Coffee is moving with Noah, and Wendy's is also moving with Noah when he goes whatever car, but they have to stay on for Daytona because they already signed on for Daytona. But after Daytona, I think Wendy's is leaving and they're going with Noah.
So, originally, I believe it was Black Rifle Coffee was on for Daytona. But Legacy announced that it is now Sunseeker Resort. So Black Rifle Coffee, I believe, backed out of Daytona.
They're
Yeah.
backing Noah up.
Yeah, I just looked at it. Bob did the entry list. And for the sponsor, it says Sunseeker Resort, now Black Rifle Coffee.
Yep.
Because there was supposed to be Black Rifle Coffee for this weekend. It's not anymore.
Because Noah's not driving.
Because Black Rifle Coffee backed out of their deal because they went with Noah. And Wendy's is supposedly supposed to leave after Daytona, but they already signed on. Yeah, I saw that because somebody posted a picture of Noah's hauler, and they're like, Black Rifle Coffee's gone off of it. And they're like, and Wendy's is supposed to leave too after Daytona.
I seen a thing where Dale Jr. talked about Noah from the Dale Jr. download, and Jr. said that Noah shouldn't go back to Cup race, and he didn't need to go to Xfinity or trucks, like start over. Get a fresh start.
Okay, I partially agree with that, because with him being basically beaten into the ground in the Cup Series, I think that's the best course of action, is to send him back and let him build himself back up.
Mm-hmm.
That's honestly last year what they should have done with Hailie Deegan. Like, Hailie Deegan is like midfield at best in trucks. So, and like with how she was doing, I felt like they should have sent her back to ARCA, or even tried to find a part-time Xfinity ride for her to see if she does any better. Maybe it's just the trucks that are like screwing her up, you know?
I mean, I said this the last time, like, I mean, yes, I want Noah to be in Cup, but I also feel like he should go back to Xfinity because that's what he knows. And I honestly kind of feel like when they announced he was going to the 42 car, I felt like he kind of got thrown into there with really no direction. Honestly, that's what I feel like. And I don't think that he was necessarily ready for it. I mean, yeah, Xfinity, he was literally murdering almost everybody, and it was a battle half the time between him and Ty. But I do feel like Noah should go back to Xfinity as much as I want him to be in Cup, but I feel like he needs a fresh start to everything.
Yeah, he needs like a rebuild to himself.
He does. And I feel like the one person that would do that would be Junior.
I definitely feel like he would be the one to like. He's always supported Noah. Kelly has always supported Noah. Like
they love Noah.
I saw Noah in Daytona the weekend of the 500 at the Hurley setup that they had, and Kelly Earnhardt stopped by and started yelling like, "Yeah, Noah, woo!" Like, just yeah. And then so Noah's like, "Oh my gosh, who is that?" And then sees it's Kelly, and then he gets like the biggest smile on his face. So like he definitely feels like the love from Junior Motorsports.
I feel like he feels at home with Junior Motorsports.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be a shocker if they announced that he was going back there.
Yeah.
And I feel like he needs to go back there because he felt that was his home. He felt safe there.
That's NASCAR news. On to IndyCar. Technically, first thing I have for IndyCar is kind of a little intertwined with Formula One, but I felt like this was probably the most important. So Alex Palou was doing I believe he was doing testing and sim work and all this other stuff for Aero McLaren and McLaren F1. And I do believe we mentioned last episode that Alex Palou pulled an Oscar Piastri. And McLaren F1 and Aero McLaren have filed lawsuits against Alex Palou for not intending to honor his contractual obligations. So, pretty much, I feel like it's basically the same exact situation as Oscar Piastri and Alpine last season. Except for, I don't believe Alpine had all of the legal stuff to be able to actually sue Oscar.
Definitely
Whereas McLaren is all
Definitely.
that.
Definitely has that.
So I believe that's I feel like the biggest news in IndyCar that I've seen. Something really cool though, with Colton Herta. He is going to race at Laguna Seca with in a livery inspired by the 1998 winner at Laguna Seca. His dad, Brian Herta, the car that Brian Herta won in, is the livery that Colton Herta is going to use on his car for Laguna Seca. So, I feel like it's always cool to see, like, racing families like that. Because, like, you get to throw back to, like, how NASCAR does the throwback race. Like, you always see Ryan Blaney throwing back to Dave Blaney. So, it's cool to see that you're able to, like, throw back to your family, you know? This isn't really important or news, but I just want to say it. Pato O'Ward has a very, 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 very pretty, like, blue turquoise looking McLaren, and it is gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
I'm pretty sure I've seen, like, a video of it before. I'm pretty sure, like, McLaren unlocked. Let's see. I think unlocked is for IndyCar and unboxed is for F1. So I've been McLaren unlocked. He did. There was a video where he was receiving that car. But still, either way, it's very pretty. I love McLarens. Okay. But we talked about Connor Daly. Just like filling in all these spots, right? Well, that wasn't enough for him. IndyCar wasn't enough for him. So he competed in the Nitro Rallycross, that happened this past weekend, or this past week. I can't remember exactly. But we know if you follow NASCAR drivers, Nitro Rallycross, Chase Elliott and Austin Cindric competed in it after the championship last season. And basically Nitro Rallycross is I think almost completely backed by Travis Pastrana. Like, I believe he's the main face of Nitro Rallycross. Like, that and then Nitro Circus, which Nitro Circus is, like, huge, okay? With Street Bike Tommy and, but anyway, Connor Daly, competed in that. And Nitro Rallycross is really weird. They're electric cars, okay? Whenever they take off, the way they sound like little RC cars. Like, I am not even joking. They're completely electric. But, but, you know, I brought back my transition between IndyCar and Formula One. But this time, without Marcus Armstrong, because we love Lissy more. Lissy had a boat day out in the Caribbean islands. Have no idea if Marcus is with her. We love Lissy more, so we pay more attention to her.
Right.
But, as always, our queen, thriving during the F1 break. She also has to go back to the Formula races whenever the Dutch Grand Prix comes around. So she will no longer be able to attend every single IndyCar race like she has been over the break. So we get to see our queen back on the F1 grid. So, as for Formula One, I have it kind of, there is quite a lot that I have to run through, but Oscar Piastri is not dead. He he finally posted something. He was in Portugal with his girlfriend. And he looks like that boy needs some sleep. He just looks so tired all the time. And some of the drivers are sporting tans, especially Max Verstappen, and Lando Norris. You'd think, okay,
Oh yeah.
so Max Verstappen, he's Dutch, which, when you think Dutch, that's comparing it to Disney. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. That's the area that supposed to be from, right? She's like ghost white, okay? So that's kind of normally what Max Verstappen is. But him
I
spending...
love that you just compared him to a Disney princess.
What? Max is a princess, okay? So you would normally think that he is like white as a ghost, okay? But he is tanning very nicely. For Lando, it's a little different. He has some other... I can't remember what type of genes he exactly has, but I believe he's more like perceptible to tanning. So
I wish it was that way.
yeah, so it kind of helps him out. So I don't know if I don't know if it was filmed during the break or before the break, but Oscar, okay, this is gonna be a throwback. Okay, if you guys know anything about Minecraft, this is gonna be a throwback. Oscar Piastri and LD Shadow Lady competed against each other in a like short sim race. Like, if you were a Minecrafter, you know LD Shadow Lady. But I thought that was funny. Like, literally, okay, hear me out. The Minecraft to F1 pipeline is real because of this video. Okay? Like, I'm not crazy. And then, in my personal opinion, Alpine needs to bring back the pink livery. Like, I get it. Okay, people think cotton candy. Okay. But it's such an iconic livery. Like,
I like the pink livery.
I love the pink livery.
I don't care that it looks like cotton candy. I liked it.
Yes. The pink livery needs to come back. And I stand by that.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know, there was a Daniel Ricciardo erotica book series thing. Called Overtake My Heart. And Daniel found out about it. His girlfriend Heidi showed it to him because, oh god, I can't remember his name. I think his last name's Shepard, but he's an actor. And the guy that's married to Kristen Bell.
Jack Shepard?
Is that his name?
Yes.
That guy has his own.
Jack Shepard?
Yes, has his own podcast and asked Daniel about it. And Daniel was like, no, I've never heard of this, like, send me the details. But while he was recording, like, this, his response, Heidi showed him. And then, like, completely caught Daniel off guard. He was like, what is this? He's like, you know what? Actually, I look jacked, though. Wait.
Yeah.
It's like, that's what... Okay, that's fine. That's fine. If that's what you care about, fine. But I thought that was very funny. I don't know where that situation's gonna go. Like, I don't know if Daniel's gonna, like, seek legal things, like, for this. Like,
I was gonna say, technically he could if he really wanted to, or he'll just leave it and just let it be.
yeah, who knows? Or, like, you know what? Actually, it would be such a Daniel Ricciardo thing if he asked for royalties on it. Like, that would honestly be very funny. But moving on. We got some news. Jenson Button is going to be racing in Petit Le Mans this year, which happens at Road Atlanta. The weekend before the U.S. Grand Prix in Austin at COTA. So actually, if I can't go to COTA, I might try to go to Petit Le Mans because I love Jensen so much.
We know.
Yes, literally, I had a full conversation with that man in Miami, and I had to be like waved off like by the staff because they were like, "You're taking too long." But I love Jensen. Okay. Something really funny. So, we mentioned the PK family for quite a few different things. Like, they're all intertwined with, like, a lot of the stuff we talked about. Obviously, the daughters, NASCAR and Formula One, and then Nelson Piquet, past Formula One champion. But we don't normally talk about Kelly, but something I really want to talk about because it is so funny. I don't normally, like, I don't follow Kelly. Like, she's one of the wags that I don't really, like, know very well. But Kelly Piquet called Max Verstappen a sloth. Now, we know the jokes.
Like Sid the Sloth.
Yes, we know the jokes. Max has been compared to Sid the Sloth. And
From
on
Ice Age.
yes. And Kelly Piquet under a post of Max's put the little sloth emoji. So, so yeah. Max Verstappen is Sid the Sloth confirmed. Speaking of Max, Max owns a $3 million car, an Aston Martin Valkyrie, which is a hypercar. So it's not normal, okay? But it is absolutely gorgeous. And he could potentially be prosecuted based on that video of I don't remember who took it, but a friend of his in the passenger seat took a video of him while he was driving, and he was reaching over to click something on the screen. And he could potentially be prosecuted for endangering the life of others because he's not paying attention to the road. And then he's also driving with another passenger in the car while he is doing other things in the car. Which, honestly, if you're driving a regular car, kind of sounds dumb. But apparently, because he's driving a hypercar, things are different, I guess. Because this man is literally wearing a headset with a microphone whenever he's driving this car. I don't know why you would need that, but he does. I don't know too much about hypercars, so couldn't tell you.
I don't even know, because normal people don't even know how to drive in a normal car, and they do the same stuff. But I mean, I guess if you're in a bougie car, it's a lot different, I guess. I don't understand.
I guess there's different rules or laws with a hypercar.
Look. I've seen the video on Twitter.
Yeah, so
to be fair, it doesn't even really look that. It doesn't even look that bad.
Oh,
honestly.
Oh, okay. So I just remembered. Let me add to that. So on top of that video, he was apparently going 120 kph in a 90 kph zone. From, I believe that's was also part of it.
Okay, well that's a whole different story, but
I was gonna say, okay, to be fair, okay, I don't know where he was driving. I don't know who he was with. But you're driving a hypercar, how can you not show off, okay? It's a $3 million.
Honestly, okay. But like I would.
Exactly. It's a $3 million car, okay? You gotta get your money's worth.
That's more money than what I have. I probably have like 5 cents in my account.
Like, $3 million is probably more than I will make in my entire life.
That's more than anybody will make in their entire life, except for F1 drivers, because they just roll in money.
Yeah.
I don't.
But, so we talked about earlier about NASCAR having their Netflix docuseries. And we talked about Drive to Survive. Well, they're filming again this season. And, we do believe Alex Albon filmed a segment for the show, and he was boxing, and this man can throw a punch. Like, I've met Alex. He seems like one of the sweetest people on the grid. Okay, I would never see him ever get into a fight. That, like, I cannot envision that. Okay. But from this video, this picture, like, oh my gosh. Like, you forget that this man is, like, physically trained his entire life to be a Formula One driver. It's like, it gives me the same vibe as, like, the first time you saw the video of Max Verstappen training with that, God, was he MMA or something? But either way, like, Max also did a short video for the Red Bull channel a couple years ago where he was training and boxing and stuff. Like, feels the same vibe to me, except Max is Mad Max, and you could 100% see him getting into a fight and winning.
Wow.
Like, I don't think there is a single person on this planet that would actually pick a fight with Max Verstappen if they knew his, like, track record, story, whatever. Okay?
Right.
Like, I don't know about a random guy on the street that has no idea anything about F1. But if anyone who knows Formula 1, I don't think they would ever pick a fight with Max Verstappen. Anyway, moral of the story.
If they did it, that's funny.
Yeah. Anyway, moral of the story, Alex Albon can throw a mighty punch, okay? So, Alfa Romeo, has a collab with Swiss graffiti artist named Boogie. I believe that's how you pronounce it, because that's how it's spelled. And they're both Valtteri and Zhou Guanyu's garage signs look like graffiti art. So that's pretty sick. Cause like if you guys don't know, I went to art school. I'm really big into art, like, but not like traditional art, but more like street art, like, and then obviously I'm a photographer, so so your unconditional types of art, untraditional, I'm an idiot, that's fine. Your untraditional types of art, that's more of what I'm into. So I thought this was the coolest thing ever. With, like, they had a Minecraft collab last race, like, that was sick. So Alfa Romeo is stepping up their game. So along with Max driving around in his hypercar, he posted on Instagram a picture where he looks like he's laying on a piece of cheese in the middle of the ocean. Which is really surprising, because, like, normally what we see on Max Verstappen's Instagram account is, like, strictly racing. So it is very surprising that he posted, like, pictures with him and Kelly, him laying on a piece of cheese in the middle of the ocean. So maybe our boy is finally joining the social media, the bandwagon. I don't know. So, yeah. Max Verstappen hints at retiring sooner than 2028 if the switch to Ford with Red Bull, if they don't, like, deliver what they're doing now with Ford. I don't know if this is an actual quote, but this is what I found. He said, "I don't see myself spending 3 years in the midfield. I'd rather stay at home and do something else. But again, I don't see that happening. As in, like, he doesn't see Red Bull not delivering. So he, like, obviously, he's not going to sit in the midfield. That's not who Max Verstappen is. He was literally, like, bred to be a winner. Like, with Jos Verstappen and even, Max's mom also being a racer. Um, so Max isn't one to just sit there and vibe in the midfield, okay? He needs to be up there winning or he's gonna get bored. Um, but so he has high hopes for the switch to Ford in 2026. So we'll obviously see how that goes in a couple of years. Which also I'm very excited about that. Like, I'm excited to see Ford back in into Formula One. I think it's been, gosh, I think before 2000 was the last time Ford was in Formula One. Future Sydney cutting in. It was 2004. That was quite a long time. Obviously, it's 2023. But anyway, obviously, I'm a Max fan. But I gush about Max and Red Bull. Okay. Anyway, we got another hard launch photo from Mick Schumacher. Technically, it was from Mick's girlfriend. Her name is, I want to say, Leia. It's spelled Laila. And she's the one that posted the new hard launch photo. So obviously, people are gonna find that. But now that she posted something, I don't feel bad about about like knowing her name or because she's the one that posted with Mick, okay? But yeah. They're obviously, I said last week that they were very cute. Our adorable little Mick.
I love it.
Like,
He is such a cutie.
yes.
But Logan, man, that's my.
Okay. Anyway, moving down the list. So Zandvoort is the next race on the calendar for Formula One. Taxis, like transportation taxis, have threatened to interfere with the Dutch Grand Prix. And this might be more now, but last time I checked, 10 people have been arrested, like amidst a climate change protest at Zandvoort. The protesters were assigned, they had a designated area where they were allowed to be, and allowed to protest freely. But they weren't allowed to block roads or like interfere with anything setting up for the Dutch Grand Prix. But instead, they decided that they were going to sit across the road and obstruct access into the circuit. So police intervened and gave them a certain amount of time to let them move before moving into like actually arrest them. So they gave them the chance to move and like move back to their spot where They were welcome to protest. Not necessarily welcomed. I mean, I don't think a lot of the Formula One fans would would really appreciate protesters, but yeah. So not a very good start to the setup of the Dutch Grand Prix. A happy note though. Yuki is alive and well. He is living his life, enjoying cycling, which seems to be a lot of what the drivers are doing, especially Valtteri. He competed in a cycling event in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, and he was wearing a Simpsons Duff bodysuit.
That picture is hilarious.
It is very funny. I do agree. So, I don't know how many people knew this, but I didn't know this. But, I don't know if this was last year, but after one of the races in Monza, Alex Albon almost died because his appendix burst. Like, that was news to me.
This is giving me deja vu because my cousin, his appendix almost ruptured and he had to go to the hospital.
I didn't know that happened until I saw the video where he said it. So Lando Norris likes to recycle his going out outfits, particularly this one black button-up shirt and a white pair of pants.
He looked so good in it.
I mean, I agree. But we need to get this man some new outfits so he doesn't have to keep wearing the same one over and over again.
So I think we should just go shopping for him and just be like, here's a new bag of clothes.
You know what? Let's go shopping and then send a package to the McLaren Technology Center and just be like, here you go. Merry Christmas. Happy birthday. Here's some new clothes. Please wear something different on your outings, okay?
He give it to Lando because he needs new clothes because he wears the same outfits over and over again for when he goes outside.
Yes.
That would be so fun.
So over the break, Nico Hulkenberg turned 36. It would have been the day the last episode came out on the Friday, the 19th. Honestly, I didn't know he was that old, but I guess it makes sense. He's been in the sport for quite a while. But so happy belated birthday to Nico.
Belated birthday, Nico.
Belated birthday.
But yeah, okay, hold on, we're gonna go back to Lando because I didn't have these in order. So Lando's summer break has been spent following around DJ Martin Garrix, as Martin DJs quite a few festivals. And so there is a video out there of Lando with his little Leica camera taking pictures. I am so excited to see those on the lando.jpg account.
Oh, I know.
I'm a very big supporter of that account, and same with Daniel's JPEG account. But because originally, so I wanted whenever I first started college, I wanted to be a concert photographer. So I would just love to see what Lando captures being at all of these events. Um, as for F1, um, their social media accounts are they're coming. I don't know who is in charge of their social media account and like the content that they come up with, but there is somebody on their team that knows about Wattpad because they posted a graphic, I guess, that looked like a phone with Instagram messages from multiple drivers inviting the audience of whoever sees that photo out to their summer break adventures. Um that is definitely looked like an edit that would have been seen in a Wattpad story.
I feel like I feel like NASCAR and F1 and a lot of any other people are not that clueless about Wattpad. Pretty pretty self-explanatory because
Yeah,
NASCAR's done that before.
yeah, I don't
You
think
know,
people are as oblivious to Wattpad as we think.
I mean, I feel like there's not many people that know about it, but at the same time, I feel like there's probably a lot of people that know about it, and no one wants to say anything about it.
It's like I was about to say the best
It's
kept
definitely
secret, but but I don't know if that really makes sense for Wattpad. But okay. Anyway, just thought that was funny to bring up. Um, so Red Bull, had their annual show run, in Copenhagen, which is basically they go out there. Red Bull has a big festival. They take one of the old Red Bull cars out there. David Coulthard, Coulthard, whatever. Anyway, past Red Bull driver, um, goes out there and drives around the old Red Bull F1 car. Does donuts and it's a whole big thing out there in Copenhagen. Um, honestly, I if they had the actual like current Red Bull drivers there, I wouldn't mind going. But like eh, it's it's David Coulthard. I could I'll pass. But like they're also in Copenhagen, so like what I've seen that they've posted, they're not speaking English. So like I wouldn't understand a single thing. So I gotta have something for enjoyment, you know? And that would be if Max Verstappen was there. Or Danny Rick, because technically he's still a Red Bull third driver, even though he's on loan to AlphaTauri. Um, speaking of, um, Red Bull's 2025 driver lineup, depends um, on Checo. If Checo performs well, he's likely to continue beyond 2024. But if not, the Red Bull seat, won't be limited to just AlphaTauri drivers, um, according to Christian Horner. Um, and he also said there's no age barrier on that seat, meaning Daniel Ricciardo won't be considered too old to get that seat. Um, because a lot of people are speculating that Liam Lawson, um, is potentially moving over. He's, I believe, currently in Super Formula, I want to say. I'm not too familiar with that, um, but he was one of the favorites to to move into the junior Red Bull team. Um, so they we'll find out how 2024 Red Bull lineup is going to be compared, or yeah, not compared. It's more reliant on how Checo does for this season and next. So now we got to Coda's favorite part, because we get to talk about her favorite person, Logan Sargent.
That's my boy.
Really, the only things that I've seen him posting is he's either with his friends or he's in the gym, which I feel like now it's so close to the next race. I feel like all the drivers have came back from their vacations and then they're back on the grind, which is exactly what Logan has posted that he's doing. And as much as Lakota loves Logan Sargent, he's got a little pickup to do. Hopefully the second half of the season will be a little better for him, because he hasn't been doing so great. Our 7-time world champion, Lewis Hamilton, has been out riding dirt bikes around and playing Uno with I guess it's part of his family, because like I've seen a few other videos and clips of him with the children that are in the video that he posted that he's playing Uno with. But yeah, 7-time world champion may have gotten beat in Uno by some children.
I'm a beast at Uno. I'm so good at Uno.
Yeah. So
So good.
Who knows? You people out there, you might be able to beat Lewis Hamilton in Uno. Who knows?
I could definitely beat him.
So this past week, World Photography Day happened. I shared some of my own photos to my Instagram story, but also all of the Formula One teams and I believe like NASCAR teams, I believe even some of the IndyCar teams, all joined in and posted photos for World Photography Day. So fueling our summer break content. So that was really cool to see, and like I said, as a photographer, I love to see motorsports photography, and not just cars. Like that, one of my favorite things is taking pictures of the drivers, because there are a lot. Oh god, I'll probably end up cutting this out. But there are a lot of pictures out there that like the photographers take of these drivers, and they look confused or like surprised, like just they don't look happy, and they like. I get it, yeah, most drivers, they're like focused and in the game, you know, but like I try to get like the more personable side of the drivers. That's why like a lot of my photos you see smiling, you see interactions with fans. You like one of my favorite photos that I've taken is my favorite driver interacting with this like 4-year-old little girl, like, and giving her a fist bump. So it's those types of photos that I like to take and like to see, and I want to see more of that. Like Formula One teams, hire me for that. Like I can take 1,000,000 pictures of your Formula One car, okay, but I would love to get the personable pictures of your drivers.
All I'm saying, if you get hired, give Logan my number. So I can stop embarrassing myself with my freaking pickup lines.
Yep. Update, guys. We're on like what, day 6?
I think it's like, I don't know. I'm on day something of whatever. I've started to use your pickup lines that you started sending me because I'm officially done with Molly's pickup lines. I think it's like, probably about like day 6, day 7.
Mm-hmm. But
it's going great.
oh, right. Okay, so on to my last update before we get talking about this weekend's races. So, Imola, the Imola Grand Prix, was canceled due to weather. But Imola wants to hold a Grand Prix in 2026, as 2023 was canceled due to floods. And it was stated that, I believe this is F1 who, like, the personnel higher in F1 had said this. We therefore hope for an extra Grand Prix in the future. We now have a contract up to and including 2025. But we would very much like to organize the Grand Prix in 2026 as well, to make up for missing the 2023 Grand Prix. So we might see Imola on the schedule a year longer than originally planned. So that's all I got for Formula One. Now, on to the weekend. All 3 race series are back. NASCAR is going to Daytona, with both Cup and Xfinity. Trucks are going to be in Milwaukee. So we got a full weekend of NASCAR racing with all 3 series. Daytona is the cutoff race for the Cup Series. We had mentioned before, IndyCar is coming back this weekend at Worldwide Technology Raceway. And we mentioned that if Alex Palou holds his points gap at 109 or higher, leaving this race, he could clinch the championship. So that's going to be a very nail-biter race for Alex Palou. We have Zandvoort. Formula One is going to the Netherlands. It is Max Verstappen's home Grand Prix, and there is a very big potential that apparently we could possibly hear the Dutch national anthem 4 times this weekend.
I'm so for the Dutch anthem. I feel like I know it better than the American anthem.
Yep. I send it Dakota every Sunday. Whenever we don't have a Formula One race.
You know what? You send it to me, and then I have to see it on my For You page at least 9 more times.
But
I'm like, I'm over the Dutch Grand Prix.
And
yeah.
As much as I would love Max to win his home Grand Prix, in front of the Orange Army, I think that's what they call them, even though there's also the Papaya Army for McLaren. As much as I would love to see Max win his home Grand Prix, I would love to see Lando win his first Grand Prix. That would be awesome.
Lando.
Like, hopefully they still have the speed from the races before the break. And hopefully they keep moving forward, because Lando has been so close. I saw a graphic that if Max Verstappen didn't win the races, like, if Max didn't exist, okay? This is how the 2023 season would have went, okay? Bahrain would have been Checo. Australia would have been Lewis. Miami would have been Checo. Monaco would have been Alonso. Barcelona would have been Lewis. Canada would have been Alonso. Austria would have been Charles. Both the British Grand Prix and the Hungarian Grand Prix would have been Lando. And then the Belgian Grand Prix would have been Checo. So, which I've heard somebody say that they should just go ahead, give Max the trophy, send him home, and let us race. Like, that's...
I'm here for that one.
Like, but I love Max. I would say he's my favorite on-track driver. He is just such an incredible talent. Technically,
you like him.
Yes. Technically Lewis is part of this generation. But I feel like there's only ever gonna be one Max Verstappen. Like, just like how dominating he is, like he can literally win from anywhere on the grid. So it's a full weekend of racing. I'm probably not gonna get any sleep. Alright, let's see. Hold on.
Probably not. I probably won't stay.
On Saturday, FP3 starts at 5:30 a.m. For Eastern Standard Time. So that's gonna be fun. It's a very exciting weekend. Very packed weekend if you are a fan of all three that we talk about on this podcast. Alright, that's it. That's the upcoming weekends. That's the events of the past week. So I think that's it. This has been the 9th episode of the Trackside Girls podcast. Thanks for watching.
Nope.
Thanks for listening. However you enjoy this podcast. And we will be back at it again next week. Bye!
Peace!